Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into decoding question 3 from the Pearson Edexcel November 2023 3H paper. Let's get straight to it.
Question 3, the anatomy of an answer. We're bypassing the fluff and breaking down exactly how to secure every single available mark for parts A and B. Okay, kicking things off with part A. That first method mark, which examiners call M1, is all about finding the products within those intervals. You know the drill, right? To estimate the mean, you've got to find the midpoints of the given intervals and just multiply them by their frequencies. So we're talking 2 times 12.5, 8 times 17.5, 13 times 22.5, 21 times 27.5, and 6 times 32.5. If you nail these calculations with no more than one tiny error, boom, you've secured that first mark. But here's a really interesting little shortcut directly from the mark scheme. You can actually grab this first method mark simply by writing down the total sum of all those products, which happens to be 1230. So if you're comfortable processing all those midpoint multiplications straight on your calculator without writing out every single step, well, you won't be penalized at all. As long as you jot down that magic number, 1230, which represents your sigma fx, you are totally golden. All right, moving right along to the second method mark. Now we need to take that sum of 1230 and just divide it by the total frequency of 50. This is absolutely crucial. It's the core formula for an estimated mean. Setting up the specific division process, whether you actually write out 1230 divided by 50, or you show the full addition inside a bracket over 50, locks in that second M1 mark for sure. And finishing off that division brings us to the big reveal, our final accuracy mark, or A1 for part A. It is exactly 24.6. You'll notice there's absolutely no further rounding needed here. You just show the correct method, set up the division, hit 24.6, and wow, that is a clean sweep for the first part of the question. Part B, communication is key. Now, this section steps away from pure number crunching and asks us to actually evaluate a statement, which builds straight into the communication mark, or C1. This is exactly where students tend to trip up. So to earn this specific mark, your answer absolutely must state no alongside one of these exact acceptable reasons. You've got a few options here. You could state that the median is in the 25 to 30 interval, or you could point out it's in the group containing the 25.5th temperature. Alternatively, you could call out the mechanical errors, like noting that the frequency wasn't taken into account, or pointing out that the frequencies are just not the same for each group. Basically, pair the word no with any of those 4 reasons, and you've got the mark secured. Now, precision in your language is an absolute game changer here. Correctly referencing the interval boundary, that works perfectly. But just guessing a specific median value like 27.5, that absolutely doesn't. Remember, with grouped frequency data, we literally only know the interval the median falls into, not the exact value itself. Stating an exact number completely goes against how groups data works, and, well, that's going to cost you the communication mark. We really need to look at what to avoid, because the examiners explicitly list these as unacceptable responses. For example, if you just write down the correct interval without actually starting with the word no, 0 marks. Vague statements like the median is higher than 22.5 also won't cut it. And, naturally, if you start your answer with yes, well, you lose the mark instantly. No way around it. But wait, the mark scheme actually offers this incredibly important leniency. It says that an incorrect extra statement can be completely ignored by the examiner, provided it doesn't contradict your correct answer. I mean, that is a fascinating peek behind the examiner's curtain, right? It means if you give one of the perfectly acceptable reasons we just covered, but then you nervously add a slightly flawed extra sentence that doesn't completely undo your first point, they will just ignore it and still award you the C1 mark. Just whatever you do, don't let your extra words contradict your main point. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to ask yourself a serious question. Are you leaving easy marks behind just because your written responses don't perfectly align with these strict boundaries? Understanding the math is really only half the battle. Knowing exactly how to present it, speaking the examiner's language, is what separates a pretty good response from a totally perfect one. Keep this level of precision in mind the next time you tackle group data.